Hi guys. So today I'm going to be doing part one of the beginner's makeup tutorial. First part is going to be the face, applying makeup to your face. And then part two, which will be in a second video, will be focusing solely on the eyes and how to apply makeup around the eyes. And now today's video I'm going to be doing face. So I am going to put on foundation and brows as a base, and then I'll start moving forward with the steps on doing highlight, blush, bronzer, and concealing. 4 steps there. Not only how I do it, but the places and where you want to place them, and tips along with those for better application. So without further ado, let's dive in. So I put on my foundation and I did my brows. I skipped that step. Now, you may ask why in this video I'm going to go through concealing is because in part 2 for the eyes, there are so many other steps that I didn't want it to be overwhelming on that video and underwhelming on this video. So, like I said, the 4 parts I'm going to highlight here are blush, highlight, bronzer, and concealing in this video. So the next thing I'm going to start with is my blush. Now this is an old blush I've been using. I've been down to the bottom of it here. This is a Too Faced blush, one of the Sweetheart blushes. I'm going to go through why I start with blush first. And on the screen I'm going to have up here kind of a dialogue going with not only on your face where I put it, but then tips with there as well. So first, you want to take a blush brush. It's feathery, soft. I got this in a kit my best friend gave me. So I will take that. Now, mine is a little wet, so it's not going to be the best application. However, I wanted to use it for this video. So I start here, kind of where your cheekbone starts, and go up towards the temple. I try not to go on the inner half of my eye because it can bring your cheeks all the way to your nose and without that gap there. So you want to kind of start from like the center, maybe the other side of the center to your temple and bring it all the way back. We'll do that. Now, depending on the type of blush, you may need a lot, but you may need a little. But you can always build it up. Start with less, work with more, and build as you go. Now here, I'm going to start on the side of the center there and work my way up. And you always want to brush up to help not drag lines down on the face. That's one thing they teach you in skincare, and you don't want to bring, you want to pull it away so that it looks like you don't have any lines on your face. Now, after doing the blush, you can see it here and here. The next step you want to do is the highlights. This highlight I'm going to use today is the Jeffree Star Supreme Frost in Diamond Wet. That is the shade I really like right now. Now, this you can do with a brush or a finger, depending on your preference. Some of the highlights you can do that with a fan brush. I have an angled brush right now, but a fan brush works as well. For this one, if I use my finger, it says it's going to be a more blinding bling. So if I want bling, bling, bling. If I just want bling or bling, bling, use a brush. It'll be a little more muted, but still there with the highlight. You want to apply the highlight onto your cheekbones here in front of your blush to give that angled, to bring light to it. So like I said, you can use a couple different types of brushes. There's a fan brush that shows on my diagram. I have an angled brush here to use with my highlight. And I'm just going to take a little bit and I'm going to gently put it on up in an upward sweeping motion. And I don't like to bring it too far back because the blush is there. You don't want to overkill it on the blush. but you don't want to bring it too far forward. So keep it in the center. You see how it's in the center, more towards the center of my eye. You want to keep it in that area and blend it nicely. Next, I apply bronzer. Today I have the Balm Cosmetics Auto Balm Girl Powder bronzer. I got this in an Ipsy. I really do like it. It is very pigmented. I found out the hard way that it's very pigmented. And I do have another angled brush here. This is another bronzer brush that I got in an Ipsy bag. Not the same one, different ones over the few months, but it's an angled brush. And it fits perfectly into the hollows of my cheeks. Now, I applied the blush from here back and the highlight from here to here. Now, underneath is where you want to bring back the bronzer. I like to start from the center of the eye down underneath the blush and bring it back. Like I said, you don't want to bring it too far forward, otherwise you make your cheeks and your nose look all in one. You do want to have some separation here. So I'm going to take my angled brush into my bronzer. Now, you see sometimes people doing like the thing with their face where they turn their cheek. I've been finding over the years that kind of making this distorted face shape can sometimes like not ruin, but distort your makeup application. So you want to try to break that habit and keep your face plain and turn it to the side. I have a mirror down here that I'm looking into besides the camera up here that I can see my application more precisely and not move my lips back and forth and make it look distorted when my face is normal. So I'm going to start here towards the center of my eye and sweep it back. Now you can see my bronzer works very well. It's very, very pigmented. So I'm going to, in a sweeping upward motion, I'm going to blend it so that it's seamless into my skin. I'm going to do the other side. So one thing I like to do is take a blending brush that I have and not only blend in my bronzer some more, but into my highlight and into my blush so that it kind of all looks seamless. So I have my bronzer, my blush, my highlight, and kind of blend it all together in a nice motion here. So we want to blend upwards. And then the next step that I like to do is conceal. Right now I'm using the Instant Age Rewind corrector. Now it has a little sponge here which can be helpful. So I'm going to twist it to get some, and you conceal under the eye. I like to do little dots as your basic under eye here. Now, I take a beauty blender, which you can get at any store. You can get them in multiple packs. You can even get a mini blender, which I have, a minier one, which might be better for the eye use here. And one of the biggest things about under eyes is that you have the thinnest layer of skin here. You don't want to tug and pull because that can cause a lot of wrinkles. You want to dab and dab and dab. So you're here, you want to dab, 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 and blend upwards so that you have this nice lifted look in your eye and you're not dragging it down. That's one of the biggest things. And these blenders here, they're angled so that they can get right underneath into the eye there. So here's a larger beauty blender here. It's a little dirty. Here's a smaller one that I'm going to use for the eye here on this side. And a dab, 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 dab. And a dab, dab, dab. Now, if you wanted to go a little bit further with your concealing, you can. Now, this is like your basic face here steps. You've got 4 steps. You've got blush, highlight, bronze, and conceal. And that is a basic beginner's face. If you wanted to go a little bit further with the concealing, just to bring out a little bit more, these are like bonus steps that I like to think about. So I like to bring it down here along the side of my nose on either side. Bring it around my blush and my bronzer. And then underneath my bronzer here. This is totally optional. Do not feel like you have to do this. This, I only say this because this can kind of sharpen your jawline and your cheekbones. So I'm going to take my larger blender and I'm going to blend that out. So I'm going to dab, 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 bring it down, and go underneath. This is totally optional. Do not feel like you have to do it. I feel like it just sharpens up your bronzer and your highlight and your blush a little bit more. It gives you that more finished look. Now, I usually finish off with a setting spray. I have a matte finish spray from Wet n Wild right now that I'm using that I do like. I also have a powder, depending on your preference. You can use powder, you can use a spray. This one is from Ciate London. I prefer sprays, but you know, I do like this. So either way, take it and get your setting in. This just kind of puts everything in its place. I like to help fan it and get it started. So in part 2, I'll be going through the eyes, about how to do eyes, and we'll be going through the details on how to do eye makeup for beginners.